Hi, I'm Pat Rosengren, and this is Huntington Profiles. This is a series where we talk to interesting people doing interesting things. And today we're talking to Jim Moseley, president of TransGuardian. Hi, Jim.
Hi, how are you doing, Pat?
Jim, what prompted you to start the business in the first place?
Well, I was kind of accidentally in the shipping industry from the time I was 19. I lived in Italy and I spoke both languages, and so I got hired by a freight transportation firm. And over the years, I ended up working for Brinks, becoming a director of international development, and then opening up the whole FedEx division for high value. Wow. And as I saw, as I was going through these different companies, I saw there were needs that they were not meeting. And those needs really had to be met intelligently via software. And I brought this to a lot of the management, like the head of FedEx and CEO of FedEx, and their response was, well, we're a parcel company. We don't really need to do that stuff. So ultimately, as the need grew and grew, as more companies went online and more companies relied on shipping to do their business, sure, I decided to start a software company and answer all those needs.
So what obstacles have you had to overcome in starting this kind of a business?
Well, I think one of the biggest challenges is trying to change the way people think about logistics. People think about logistics as wings and wheels. Right. And our commencing idea was that we were never going to have wings and wheels. We were going to take software that was going to wrap around the people who had those things. And the reason is because if you look at driving trucks or flying airplanes or delivering packages, the margins on that type of business is 2 to 3%. It's really a kind of lousy business. But when you take software that wraps around the infrastructure of other international transportation companies, and what you do is you give the customer the ability to have not just price, but choice. To be able, it's kind of like the kayak for shipping. When you're able to look at all your possibilities and choose the best ones and make good management decisions, the margins on doing that are 10, 20, 30 times the margin of flying airplanes.
What you started doing 10 years ago and what you're doing now, I get the feeling it's morphed a bit.
It has.
How has that happened? Obviously you found more needs in the marketplace and you're filling those.
Well, my experience has always been primarily in the area of shipping valuables, gems and jewelry and pharmaceuticals and firearms and things, anything that has value that people ship.
Ever since the beginning, you focused on that.
Yeah, I mean, my first job in Italy was to figure out a way to get gold jewelry from Milan to New York. And I had no idea how to do it. I had more doors slammed on my nose in New York than I care to count, but I just wouldn't give up. And we finally figured out a way. 6 months later, we were moving 5 tons of gold a week. Wow. So valuables was the approach that was the perspective I always had. That was really important because in order to ship valuables, you need lots of controls. So when we developed the software for TransGuardian, we had a very open, flexible infrastructure. We needed to look at every touch point in the transit. And what was really surprising was we didn't know we were doing this, but we were building the world's best logistics software. It came as a surprise because we were looking at how to mitigate risk, but what we ended up with was a flexibility and power that we did not foresee. If I ever get on the cover of Forbes magazine, I'm going to claim I saw it from the start, but it's really serendipity.
And so who's a good client for TransGuardian? Who's a prospect? Who would you like to have on your phone when you get back to the office?
Well, one group of clients that would be very good would be anybody who's shipping something that is either valuable or is very sensitive. So for example, if you have pharmaceutical companies that are shipping prescription fulfillments, they need to know that those parcels don't get left on a doorstep for a child to find. So that's a very accountable shipment. Or if you have somebody, for example, we're working with a major bank right now that wants to do its depositors through our software because they're able to now convert every post office, 38,000 post offices in the United States, into basically their branches. Or we could have people who ship gems and jewelry. But what we're finding now is that in addition to those, any warehouse, any large retail chain, anybody who's shipping out things en masse can use our software to find the best, the cheapest, the fastest way to do it in ways they really could never do before. And it sounds like a claim that you could say, well, you know, I've heard of softwares that do that. Yeah, so have I. But what I will tell you is that what we're finding is we match up against those other softwares. Surprising to us, we're surpassing them in every way.
So your success has surprised you.
It is. It's a complete surprise. Not our success in the valuables, because I have so many years in that. I always expected we would excel there. What I didn't expect is that the assets inherent to building a valuable shipment management business would translate into sneakers and into laptop computers. Yeah, exactly.
Components.
Exactly.
Well, it sounds like you've learned as much as you've provided for other people. What do you see as the future of shipping? I mean, this is a big subject in America. Mailing, prices, the internet has changed the way we send anything to anybody. How do you see shipping parcels in the future?
I think it would surprise a lot of people. I talk to a lot of companies with vice presidents in charge of logistics who think they know what they're doing, and I can't really contradict them, but they really don't. The carriers deliberately make it very complicated. It's like your monthly cell phone bill. There's always something you can't quite unravel, and they do it on purpose because their margins are low. So the way that they can really make money is kind of by bamboozling people and putting hidden catches in their pricing structure. And so what we're seeing is that the way that shipments are going, people think they read about Amazon and drones and things like that and same-day delivery. I don't believe that's where it's going. I believe that we've been seeing for years and years now that deferred shipping methods are becoming preferred. For example, when you go on to an internet retailer and they give you the offer of $15 to have it overnight or free in 3 days, probably most of the time you choose free. And what we're finding is that's true. I mean, we have companies who've saved millions of dollars simply by asking this single question: is 2 day okay? In industries where 2 day is never thought to be okay, 80% of the time, the buyer of the merchandise will say that it is. And the other thing that's happening is that shipments are not going B to B so much anymore. With the internet, they're going B to C.
So
and
business to business and business to consumer.
Business to consumer. So you have to figure out, how can I get my product to that remote farmhouse in Nebraska? Because it's one thing to deliver in Manhattan,
sure,
but the remote farmhouse in Nebraska is going to cost you 40 to 60% more. So people have to start to look at alternatives. Believe it or not, the post office is one of the greatest alternatives, and we're integrated with them and partners. They're bringing costs down. FedEx and UPS deliver 30 to 40% of their packages today by the post office.
The good old post office. It's good to hear they're going to stick around and they're in our future.
They've put $100 million in new technology. The other carriers aren't doing that. By the end of 2015, I will predict that almost everybody who relies on shipping for their business is going to find 40% or more of their parcels going with the Postal Service, because they are going to become the fastest, cheapest, and most accountable parcel service, bar none.
Wow. What is your website? Where can people go to learn more?
They can go to www.transguardian.com. That's like transportation and guardian angel. And and they can contact us via the web.
Jim, thank you so much for being part of Huntington Profiles. This is a good example of talking to somebody who's guiding our future in a very important field. Thank you very much.
Thank you.